abandon any semblance of fairness and journalistic discipline. News presentations generally have morphed into activist organizations. They seek profit from an audience of true believers, and part of that equation is hating the opposition. Donald Trump reacts emotionally to that reality, lashing out against his media enemies. Kamala Harris largely ignores the vitriolic statements against her, understanding her deep advantage, as the vast majority of the press is leftist. Observing from the sidelines, fair-minded voters understand the playing field. Vice President Harris is a person of limited vision, totally dependent on the progressive machine to guide her. Donald Trump is a battered political warrior who often makes rhetorical mistakes. It is easy to rail against him. Caught in the middle is the country. My belief is that the progressives will cause far more damage to the USA than the MAGA platform. Patriotic Americans will make the call as it should be. Hopefully, there will be brighter days ahead. Back after this. Are you feeling the impact of the recent changes in the timeshare industry? My friends at Lone Star Transfer are the only company I trust to help you. For more than a decade, they have successfully helped over 20,000 owners get out of their timeshare with an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. Customer service is their priority. For a free consultation and a guaranteed solution, 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good morning, freedom fighters. Kenny Williams.
You're the freedom fighter, mister.
I am revved up, baby.
Yeah, me too, Vic.
I am revved up. My blood pressure's got to be up today. I'm
It's good, though.
Ready to go. Let's go. Whew. Election day. You know 81 million people have already voted?
All Trump supporters?
All Biden. Every vote.
Oh,
went to
every
Biden.
one of them.
81 million. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
God almighty. All right, big show today. Kenny, you just gave us a great show again today. Thank you so much. Nick Schroer, state senator, Jay Ashcroft, who's in the middle of a lawsuit against the DOJ. They're trying to come and watch our polls. We don't need them to watch our polls.
No,
okay?
no.
Anybody from this administration to watch our polls. So we have great coverage tonight. Tony and I will be in here, and the entire crew will be checking in all night.
Yeah, I get the chat boxes.
And I said, that's right, and you're great at that.
Thanks.
And I said to Tony, he sent me a text. He said, are you in for the election coverage? So I texted back, I don't know, Capriotti sandwiches? He said, of course. I said, okay, but it's all it takes sometimes. Dr. Randy Tobler, the great Jamie Allman, and the great Drew Thomas Allen. What an election day.
The Pledge of Allegiance, brought to you by our United States Air Force and Space Force.
All right, gun jumper. Who's doing the Pledge of Allegiance?
President Trump.
Yes, go!
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Over 200 careers to pick from in the U.S. Air Force and Space Force. Call Jeremy Jefferson in Baldwin now at 314-295-6834. 314-295-6834.
This is Logan Bryant.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's Go! Kenny got all emotional there, by the way, hearing Trump do the Pledge of Allegiance. And those are the J6ers singing the national anthem there, so that's great, too.
He's known by many names.
We, the people are in charge. Once we put the people back in charge, we are going to save our republic.
Nikki Two Shows. Schroer the Thrower. Twitter trolls love to hate him.
We love Vic Porcelli so much.
He's Nick Schroer, Missouri State Senator.
Good morning, State Senator. How are you?
Happy Election Day, and I don't know how I am yet. I'm a little excited, a little pissed off, a little nervous. We've got a nation to take back.
A little everything.
Let me tell you guys a little story, okay? Only on 2 other dates in history have I said this, and it wasn't saying it out loud. It was putting it on Facebook, and I should have done it today. I forgot. It was Game 7 of the 2011 World Series, and it was Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, the Blues and the Bruins. And I said, I'm so nervous I could puke.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel today, Nick.
I do too. I mean, look, I've got 2 little daughters that it truly means the world to me, looking at what these 2 candidates stand for. One is peace, prosperity, individual liberty, making America sovereign again, making America free again, making America safe again. And you have another one who has been second in command and basically tearing up this nation, tearing up our economy, making things more costly, making things crazier. She was the one, Kamala Harris was the one that wrote the bill in California that allowed people to start going in and vandalizing stores up to a certain point. I think it was up to $900. You could do it, and the prosecutors weren't going after it. Now we're on the verge of World War III. So looking at my kids' future, man, this is the most important election I've ever been involved in.
I have said it on record, and I'll say it again. I think that's the most consequential day since July 4th, 1776, Nick.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I feel the same way. I just released a new shirt today. I was so pissed off over the past couple of days. And you know how I am when my mind gets going, something that kind of, I don't know, just as an outlet for me is creating these new designs. And 13 Roots Apparel, we just released it right before I jumped on air. And it's an homage to the old movie Red Dawn, when these kids had to rise up again. And it was like a new Revolutionary War when they were attacked by these tyrannical nations. I think one movie had, Russia and China. One's got North Korea involved in it. But it's got a little silhouette of Trump holding a gun that the left likes to go crazy over. But look, we have to rise up like the Wolverines. We have to rise up like, they did in the American Revolutionary War. And as of right now, we've got a target on our backs. Because if Kamala wins, we've already been told she's coming after our guns. She's coming after our free speech. She's coming after our Constitution, is going to shred that and change us into one of these Stalinistic third world countries that we've slowly been becoming over the past 4 years.
Yeah. And Nick, you brought up your daughters. That's what I think about. I mean, it's not for us. This is not what it's about. It's about our kids. It's about our grandkids. I think, and you and Vic both mentioned emotions. I mean, I got a little emotional just listening to Trump. I mean,
doing the pledge and the J6ers. Yep. It's all about emotion, man. And you were talking about all the things that you've made. I just want to draw everybody's attention to our stream every day. In case you don't know, you can watch the show. All this handsomeness. Why would you neglect all of this handsomeness in here? But if you look at the stream, everything besides me and Ken was made by Nick Schroer.
Yeah.
The 2 November 5th clocks, the freedom fighters, 2 freedom fighters. November 5th is coming. The cats.
Well, it's here.
The cat's
here today.
Right. And we got to take them down after today.
Yeah. And Nick, we talked about that, but I told Vic, I said, this is an opportunity. After they're down, we can put up some other stuff.
Oh, yeah, Nick, you got to keep drawing for us, man, or whatever it is you do.
Either way, we're going to have a lot more art coming forward. Hopefully it's going to be celebrating the new path that we're on, a path back to prosperity and freedom and making this nation sovereign and making this world peaceful again. And that's something, look, we're going back to 2016 with all these talking points from the left, how Trump's got his finger on the red button and Trump's going to, throw people in jail and he's going to put Liz Cheney on a line to have her shot down. All of this crap is BS. It's garbage. It's lies. And That's what they have become, the party of Chicken Little. They're going to try to scare people into submission, just like the Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky, and just like the Communist Manifesto has directed them to do it. And that's what I want to challenge people to go out and get a book. Go get the Communist Manifesto and look exactly what was being directed in that book so many years ago. That's actually being implemented today, the Communist Manifesto. And when it opened your eyes to see these tactics that the left is implementing. It didn't work back in 2016. They stole an election in 2020. They shut things down. They made our economy garbage by the Democrat states shutting things down, shutting down production, shutting down our economy, telling people to stay at home. They manipulated all of the different rules. But now this is the new era. This is 2024. And we've seen what's happened over the past 4 years. And the recycling, they're trying to recycle. We're trying to focus on the garbage, which Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has called us. But they're trying to recycle these talking points that didn't work back in 2016, that Trump is Hitler, that everybody, we're either deplorable or we're garbage. Well, look, we're fed up. We want to take our nation back. We want safety and prosperity. We don't want World War III. We now see that troops from North Korea are on the front lines in Russia, in Ukraine, helping Russia, and they're going to be coming here next.
Yep. And our phrase of the day yesterday, inspired by one of our listeners in the chat box, was, well, smack my ass and call me garbage. Okay.
That might be a new shirt.
Right?
Yeah,
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. All right. So Donald Trump, Ken and I have been talking about this all week. I think it was 16, maybe it was 16 and 20. He did a rally that lasted after midnight last night.
Yeah.
And when he first did that first year, I was like, oh, my God, this is great. And, obviously his speeches, he could riff for 40 minutes with no teleprompter. Kamala Harris can't get through easy little things to say, and she says the same thing every time.
Are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win.
Now keep in mind what's going on here, guys. That was 3 different rallies. They were unedited. The producer just laid them over, okay, from the Trump campaign. He just laid them on top of each other. If you watch the videos, there are 3 videos they put side by side. If you watch the videos, her hand movements, her inflections, everything are exactly the same. This woman's a creation. This is a bad B movie production, this whole candidacy.
It's like you're rehearsing for a play, and she
That was scary.
Yeah.
It
Wasn't
sounded
it?
like the 2 girls in the hallway from The Shining.
Yes.
Just coming after you, saying the same exact creepy thing. And this is exactly what Biden was. They had these canned speeches for Biden. He couldn't read the teleprompter. For years, they lied to us as we were sitting there with the red flag saying, something's wrong with this guy.
Yeah.
And we knew exactly what was going to happen, that they were going to replace him at the last minute with her. But yeah, I mean, it astonished me when I was trying to go to bed last night around midnight. Trump was still going.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, this has to be fake. He can't be on the eve of an election, such an important day. He's already had like 15 rallies today. Yeah, and he's shooting from the hip. This guy is incredible. And guess what? He's still going to keep going. Whether the media smears him, whether people are going to try to take him out, literally, this guy is fighting for our future, fighting for his grandkids' future. And the one granddaughter that spoke at the convention, it just pulled at the heartstrings, because she even went on social media and said, hey, one more day, Grandpa, you've got this.
Wow.
Right.
Man.
Wow.
Her speech at the RNC was, he's such a great grandpa. He sneaks me candy and money.
Right.
Which I absolutely loved. So,
yeah.
All right. So let's talk about, I was going to bring up something, but did you see that thought fly away? Just
Yeah.
in there and flew right
I tried
away.
to grab it.
So if I could think of it while you're talking, Nick, I want to talk about amendments, and especially Amendment 7, which you got to be careful on, because voting yes means no and voting no means yes, right?
Yeah, so that's the only one that I've actually encouraged people to vote yes on. There are 2 that are very important to me, and I'm not going to get mad if you vote, your certain way on a couple of the other ones, but absolutely no on 3. But then when it comes to 7, we already know what the Democrats are trying to do. They've already failed at one point in trying to change the way that you and I vote. They want you to vote like they do in California, or even in Alaska that's been able to change a red state to purple with this ranked choice voting garbage and actually letting illegals voting in our state elections. So our Constitution says all citizens have the right to vote. It doesn't restrict it. It doesn't restrict it to only citizens. And we've seen other states that have had that same exact language in their constitutions. Well, they've been challenged, and the Democrats have won. The Democrats have said, well, it doesn't exclude.
Wow.
It just says if you're a citizen, you can vote. It doesn't say that only citizens can vote. So that's what we're trying to change, that only citizens can vote in our elections, that if you want to vote in a Missouri election, you have to be a legal Missouri United States citizen. And we're going to stop this garbage of ranked choice voting. And it's not necessarily ranked choice voting. What this is actually what they're proposing is circus primaries, where, like a Secretary of State that had, it seemed like 15 people in there. You would have had to go through the list and mark, all right, I want Denny Hoskins, then I want this person, then I want this person. And we've seen statistically, it is a nightmare. And sometimes it results, I'm not even kidding you, sometimes it results in the person that got the most votes on number one losing because people have not marked, out of those 15 candidates, they left a couple blank or they only voted for the person that they wanted to win. Well, those ballots get thrown out. So we're asking you to vote yes on 7, because what that'll do is protect our Constitution, protect one person, one vote, and make it to where only citizens are voting in our elections.
It's written very sneaky.
Yeah,
very,
it
very
really
sneaky.
is.
So what I was going to say was Donald Trump got the endorsements of Joe Rogan last night. And how about Roberto Clemente Jr.
Nice.
in Pittsburgh, where his dad played, endorsing Donald Trump. And I think, the real people.
Jim Brown's daughter, too.
You're right.
Wow.
You're right. Yeah. So, that's good to know that a generation underneath these great guys were just doing the right thing. And, the people who endorse Kamala Harris, like LeBron James and all these people, they don't have to worry about the prices at the supermarket.
No.
They don't have to worry about insurance going up. I mean, how transparent can they be? And I don't mean that in a good way.
Well, did your guys hear Cardi B when she's up on stage for Kamala Harris? She said, prices are so high, even I notice it, and I don't have to notice it because I make money, but I make out my bills every single week. Well, I'm thinking, yeah, lady, you're standing up here endorsing the person who made the groceries high.
For it.
All right.
Yeah,
Nick.
I mean, you've even got these UFC fighters that just 4 or 5 years ago were anti-Trump are now coming out for Trump. The people that actually are impacted by these policies are coming out in droves for Trump. The people that are afraid that they're going to get exposed for being on the Epstein list or going to a P. Diddy party, they're coming out to protect themselves by voting for Kamala.
And they sound desperate, don't they? They
are.
Yeah, they need protection from all the Diddy parties and who knows, maybe Epstein Island. There's a lot of dirty.
I've never been to a Diddy party.
I never have
Me
either.
either.
Nope. All right, Nick. Well, this is it, man. We got to do it. We got to vote. We got to win. Thank you for everything you do for us, Nick. We appreciate you, man.
God bless you, boys, and fight.
Win, win, win.
God bless you, Nick.
Get on the artwork.
buddy,
Let's go. Get on the artwork. Go. Did he say God bless you, boys?
Yes, he did.
Oh, well, God bless you back, Nick Schroer. Okay. Everything he said was right. Tonight's coverage, Tony Colombo and I will be here in the studio. Ken will be working the chat box. We'll have everybody else at the station all around the region to check in from wherever they are. And all of that is brought to you by Harry J's Steakhouse in Moscow Mills and DJ Firearms in Bowling Green. Okay. Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, last words before the polls close. Will give us a call on 1019 and 94. Is So's birthday? Today's birthday?
Yeah.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. This is the real Kamala Harris.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
The real Kamala Harris on the Vic Porcelli Show on News Talk STL.
The point he's making is you're a liar. And I've never been to Spain. So listen, I want you guys to know, okay, when you drive home from work, right, you need to be listening to Tim Jones and Chris Arps every day because Sean Hannity is a worthless piece of
stuff.
Thank you. Last night, he stole Ken Williams' "This is the real Kamala Harris" thing.
Yeah.
I'm watching it and I'm like, what the hell? Is he listening to us and stealing our stuff too?
Yep.
Bongino, okay, he can do it.
Yeah.
Not Hannity.
No.
Make up your own stuff. And by the way, say the same thing every night. Same exact way. All right, I'm sorry. So if you're ready to sell the house, guess what? Got a realtor team ready to go. The best realtor team, the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway. Rodney and Jen Wallner are the two people that make up that Wallner Home Selling Team, and they know, first of all, how to get things done. They know how to make it affordable for you, and they know how a family reacts and acts and lives and behaves. And they will help you get your home sold. I think the biggest reason of having so many approved home buyers ready to go, ready to buy your house, and they will guarantee you an offer. And guess what? They might even sell your home before it hits the market. They sell 15 times more homes per year than your typical realtor. And like I mentioned, great husband and wife team, great philanthropists, and just good at what they do, right? I'm not telling you to have them help you sell your house because they're philanthropists. They just happen to be. In Missouri and Illinois, the Wallner Home Selling Team, 314-810-SOLD, 314-810-SOLD.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewstalkSTL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are ignoring kitchen table issues. Liberals are fighting to defund the police, indoctrinate kids, open the border, and put boys in girls' sports. I'm Ann Wagner. The people I talk to know better. Let's work for what matters most. Lower costs, parents' rights, and safer streets.
Ann Wagner is working for common sense solutions to the problems you face. She's challenged the big government machine in Washington and delivered a tax cut for middle-class families. Ann has stood with parents to defend their right to make decisions on the upbringing, education, and care of their children, protecting our kids from radical leftist indoctrination. And as crime rises, Ann has worked to protect our safety by fighting efforts to defund our brave police.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message. So pull up a chair, and together we'll turn the tables on Washington.
Fighting for your family. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm honored to tell you that the Cafe Napoli family is growing. That means you're going to have more locations to enjoy the Napoli experience. The Napoli heritage of fine dining continues with Napoli Kirkwood. So you have Cafe Napoli in Clayton, Napoli 2, Town and Country, Napoli 3, St. Charles, right next door, Napoli C, and don't forget Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in the district, Chesterfield Valley, plus soon, Napoli Kirkwood.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Columbo and Company, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
I had a guardian angel by my side. I called her Mamaw. Now, she once told me, when she found out that I was spending too much time with a local kid who was known for dealing drugs, that if I ever hung out with that kid again, she would run him over with her car. And she said, JD, no one will ever find out about it.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
I'll say it again, man. I think this is the last election. If Trump doesn't win, this is the last election.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think people, and a lot of people are waking up and realize that have been lifelong Democrats. Guys like Bill Ackman, guys like Chamath.
Yeah, exactly.
Tulsi Gabbard switched over to the Republicans. Like there's a lot of people who their whole life they've been left wing and they realize like, I can't do this anymore.
You and I used to be Democrats.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It's nuts, man. If the Dems win this election, they will legalize enough illegals to turn the swing states, and everywhere will be like California. There will be no escape.
That is so insane.
This is the final. This is it. This is the last chance.
Has anybody tried
And
to
I
push
just want to
back?
go out and vote. Vote like your life depends on it. Vote like your future depends on it, because it does.
That is Elon Musk on the Joe Rogan podcast. Somewhere within that conversation, Joe Rogan endorsed Donald Trump.
Yep.
And Elon Musk, I love him to death, but he doffs his hat like a dork. He was,
but he's a geek, man.
I love it. I'm not saying anything bad about it. They were cheering for him. He had a color scheme of a Make America Great Again hat that I never saw before. It was like black with gold letters.
About as unique as he is, yeah.
And they're cheering for him, and he's trying to doff his cap, and he's reaching out too far and everything, which is fine. We'll take any dork that wants to be on our side. So let's be joined now for some final words and get an update on the weaponized DOJ. Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, and let me also stand up for geeks. We need techies. We need geeks.
Yeah,
that's right, Secretary.
Nothing wrong with it. I just got such a kick out of it. And let me get to a quick story, okay? My son is one of the greatest people in the world. And when he was in Little League, he made the all-star team, and they introduce each kid individually. I said, Chris, when they introduce you, you got to doff your hat. You got to doff your hat to the crowd. And he goes, oh, okay. He was all excited to do it. And then they said his name, and he was doffing while he was running, man. There's something about that. There's something about just doffing the cap I love. All right, let's get serious. Stop screwing around here, Mr. Secretary. Can we start with the weaponized DOJ coming to look at our election? Who do they think they are?
Well, they think they're the federal government, and they know better than you. And I got to say, we had a judge last night that decided that they don't have to follow the law. The judge didn't find the state law prohibiting them unconstitutional, didn't say that federal law trumps state law, just said, all they want to do is come for this, and how big of a harm is it really if they violate the law? Can you imagine that? A judge saying, well, it's not a big deal if you violate the law, so go right ahead.
So when they
That's what
come,
happened last night.
when they come, is there some sort of something in there that they can be monitored and watched and followed?
That's a really good question. I have to say we've never really considered that, because we always just thought we could go to court and a judge would say, yeah, you got to follow the law.
Wow. You know what, Mr. Secretary, it's
not over. We're gonna continue to fight it. This thing happened 2 years ago where they lied about the purpose. I mean, they say it's about making sure that individuals with disabilities can vote, and yet we have curbside voting.
Yeah.
We have accessible equipment at every location. If you're in the city of St. Louis, you may vote at any polling place you want. You don't have to just go to yours. And of course, we have a central polling location that you can use. It is a lie that this is about ADA. No one is going to be stopped from voting because of any inability or disability or burden at the building. We have taken care of that.
Mr. Secretary, I think it's like that slow burn of overregulation and overreach by the federal government. This is what we're voting on today, is the government keeping out of our lives, and they're going to infiltrate like a slow burn. You watch this. This is a good example of what we're fighting against right now by voting.
It is, but this is going to continue. We're going to continue this fight, and we filed, and then a day later, Texas filed. So I think not only are we going to see that we're going to prosecute this case, but other states are saying, hey, wait a minute, we're going to follow Missouri and fighting back against the federal government. The fight ain't over, baby.
All right, I need a little more clarification on something, if you don't mind, Mr. Secretary. Curbside voting?
Yeah. Yeah, our election authorities for individuals, that maybe we've got people that maybe are going through cancer treatment that just can't be out with other people.
Yeah.
Maybe for maybe a quadrilegic or a paraplegic, someone that just they can get to the car, but just getting into the building and waiting in line. We will send a bipartisan team out, a Republican and a Democrat, to that vehicle to vote them. There will be a paper ballot that will be returned by that bipartisan team and put into the tabulator. In Missouri, we'll make sure that if you're a legal voter, you can vote. But if you're not a citizen, you're going to have problems.
All right. So around the area, around my area, we live out in West County, Manchester, Baldwin area. My wife already got all the stats on how many people are in line at all the place. And the Taiwanese church on 141 is a voting location, and there was zero wait, zero. Walk in, vote, walk out. That's good.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. You know, one thing I should mention, there's been a lot of rain lately. We had to move a polling place because of flooding yesterday. If anybody is concerned about the flooding, all the polling locations are open. If for some reason you're concerned about getting to your polling place because of flooding, you can always go to your election administrator, your county clerk headquarters, and you can vote there.
Yep, I'm telling you, that site is great for checking on the wait time and all that stuff. Can I ask you a question, Mr. Secretary Jay Ashcroft, completely out of left field, but it just hit me now that you'd be very good at it. Might there be a cabinet position for you if Trump wins, when Trump wins?
Oh, wow.
Obviously, if the president were kind enough to ask me to be a part of his administration if he won, that'd be something I'd be happy to do. I got to say, I think those are going to go to people that have held higher office than I have. But it's very kind of you to pretend like I
Stop it. I think it'd be a great cabinet member,
no
not to mention
here.
a great AG.
Right, exactly.
That's what I was thinking. All right, so last minute for you before the election, Mr. Secretary, go.
Get out and vote. If you haven't voted yet, this is an election that matters. We are talking about whether or not we're going to continue the last 4 years where inflation has been on the rise, where our enemies have been emboldened, where our allies are getting attacked, where men are invading women's restrooms and women's sports and hurting women by doing so, or whether we're going to get back to the idea that all men are created equal and endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, those of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and a government that will protect it.
Right. I think having a position would be perfect for the secretary.
Oh, I think it would be too.
All right. Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, thank you so much. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Ken, how lucky are we that we get somebody the stature of Jay Ashcroft, right? Secretary of State, and we can screw around and say happy birthday every day.
I think he has fun when we're here.
I absolutely think so.
Little break.
I just don't think anybody else gets that kind of chance to have that much fun.
I don't think so either.
Right?
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
Going backwards, Drew Thomas Allen will close us up today. Can't wait to see what he has to say. What I don't know if I tweeted something myself or if I reposted something, but he reposted something with the funniest comment, which had all kinds of curse words in it because that's what he does.
Yeah.
Jamie Allman, the king of conservative radio, coming in at 10:25 today. Dr. Andy Tobler at 10:05, and we're supposed to talk to Jonathan Heslop from Capriotti Sandwiches. I don't see him.
I'm sure he'll be here.
He better be here.
No, you will.
Tonight's election coverage is counting on it. All right. And maybe we'll check the chat box too a little bit. Chat boxes are on fire. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we
go
do.
Vote, vote, vote. Fight, fight, fight. Win, win, win.
Follow us on Rumble at NewstalkSTL. This is the real Kamala Harris.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. We have to just acknowledge that the residual impact of fracking is enormous in terms of the impact on the health and safety of communities.
And in 2019, you said, quote, "There is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020.
Would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes. And I've, again, worked on that.
The real Kamala Harris on the Vic Porcelli Show on Newstalk STL.
I want to give you credit because you put all those together. The real Kamala Harris.
People need to know, man.
You had the idea. You had the everything about it. You put them together. They sound great. And Sean Hannity stole it from you last night. That son of a bitch.
Gun. Oh, okay. You thought I was going to say something a bit, didn't you?
And I did, didn't I? All right, so let's talk about your roof. If you see a lot of rain, it was 5 inches of rain overnight. And if you're seeing any indication that there may be a drip or a leak or something from the roof, your first call needs to be to Connor Roofing to get that cleared up right away. Don't wait. 314-375-7475. Or, of course, their great website, connorroofing.com. So if there is something wrong with your roof due to this rain, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have Connor come. They're going to go up on the roof, and they're going to tell you exactly what it is, honest estimate on what's happening. And then when you deal with Connor before the insurance company, they will take care of it all from there, okay? Quality work, of course, great customer service and follow-up. And, for these emergency repairs, that's really where all the great ratings come from for Connor Roofing. Go and look at the reviews on Google, on Yelp, wherever you are, and you will see that every single one says, I cannot believe the great service by Connor Roofing. So go to connorroofing.com, CONNER roofing.com.
The Allman Report.
Hey, Tuesday, the Allman Report melding with live election coverage here on News Talk STL. The Allman Report, News Talk STL.
Jamie Allman, weeknights at 8 on News Talk STL.
Need reliable auto service from people you can trust? Look no further than Western Tire and Auto. For over 15 years, we've been your complete automotive repair center, family owned and operated, with owner Dean Kleethermes bringing 30 years of industry experience. At Western Tire and Auto, you're not just a customer, you're family. We promise 100% satisfaction, treating you with the transparency, respect, and honesty you deserve. Visit us in St. Peters or in Florissant. For appointments, call or check westerntireauto.com. Western Tire and Auto, your local automotive experts since 2008.
State Representative Philip Olerking stands up for Missouri families. Every day, he fights to make St. Louis County a safe, affordable place to raise a family and build a future. Philip led the charge to freeze property taxes for seniors, protect middle-class income, and fully fund our police. He's proven he puts families, not special interests, first. We have a choice. Keep St. Louis County strong with Philip Olerking, or risk letting those who want to weaken our communities take over. Vote Philip Olerking, the leader who stands up for Missouri families.
Paid for by Foundations for Liberty. Jacob Loft, Treasurer.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit connorroofing.com. That's CONNER roofing.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
I'm going to grab a bite to eat. You want like a sandwich or something? What kind of sandwich ain't too fattening? I have the sandwich.
On News Talk STL.
Just so you know, I didn't vote for Donald Trump in 2016. I didn't vote for Donald Trump in 2020. It was a great big awakening for me in the last 4 years, and it's a loss to the Democratic Party. They don't realize that just because you voted in the past means you're going to be loyal in the future. Your actions do actually matter.
Yeah, I think people see it a lot easier now because we've had Trump before. And we've had Kamala Harris and Biden and how bad it's been. People are waking up. Can I ask you who you voted for in 2020 or in 2016?
Unfortunately, I voted for Hillary Clinton and I voted for Joe Biden. And it was Joe Biden was a catastrophic error.
Yeah.
And again, it was me listening to mainstream media. And once all the independent people like yourself started coming out and, giving us more information, I was like, well, wait a minute, I need to research this.
So you'd say that social media and independent journalism is helping?
Oh, 1,000%.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that story after story after story. Yeah, I did vote for Joe Biden in 2020, and I made a mistake, and this year I'm voting for Trump. And today is the day, man. And you know what? I want results tonight.
Some kind of results, yeah. I mean, there's no reason for it. Taiwan counted 26 million votes by hand in 6 hours.
I'll say it again. I want the results tonight.
Yeah.
All right. We are joined by one of our great friends, Jonathan Heslop from Capriotti Sandwiches and
Rockwood Charcoal.
Charcoal. Yes. So we'll try to fit both of those into this. I'm going to tell you a story. I swear to God, absolute truth. Tony and I have been doing this coverage, election coverage, debate coverage since the station started more than 3 years.
More than 3 years ago.
God. And a couple of weeks ago, he texted me and he said, hey, I just want to confirm, are you coming in for the election coverage? So I wrote him back and I said, I don't know. Capriotti sandwiches? He said, absolutely. I said, I'm in. How you doing?
The funny thing was he didn't put the order in though. Yet. But I'm to the rescue.
You are
and
to the rescue.
I brought him
Look at that,
anyway
my
because
goodness.
I knew you wanted them. So
great.
I've been in the car probably 2 hours already this morning. It has been a nightmare out there in Eureka. Talking about the polling locations earlier, right by where I would have voted if I wouldn't have voted early, is flooded.
Wow.
So coming up on the Twin Rivers area. So I don't know where that district all goes, but there's some serious flooding there and nobody can get there.
So are they diverting people to other locations, I guess?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's like I said, I voted back on Friday, so all was good there. But,
So Eureka is St. Louis County, right?
well, I'm in Jefferson County, so I'm on the Jeffco side of Eureka.
Oh, okay.
So I can't speak for Jeffco, but I'm sure they do. Our county, St. Louis County, on the election site will tell you exactly how many people are in line when you're looking at the site.
Oh, wow.
And where the sites are. So I'm sure if one was closed because of flooding, like you just said, I'm sure they opened up something. And
They're still open. It's just a matter of it's really hard to get there.
Yeah, and please, that's what they're hoping for on the left. They're hoping that you won't show up or you'll say you'll get discouraged and walk away. Just hang in there, stay in line, stay in the car and go wherever they're diverting traffic to and vote.
Ken, vote like your life depends upon it.
Because it does.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about sandwiches. Enough of this crap, okay?
Are you guys on the pro sandwich ballot? You're
Absolutely.
I was one of the early adopters of that.
Capriotti
Always
for
vote pro
president.
sandwich.
So tell us, how's it going? Is it going good?
Yeah, it's going great. Everything is last week was crazy busy. Yesterday was kind of dead just because of the rain and everything. But it's going better. We're getting the word out on Capriotti's. And I'm going to tell you this. So our the most famous sub that's there, it's called the Bobby. It's the Thanksgiving one. It's the turkey, the mayonnaise and stuffing and cranberry sauce. Okay,
all in one sandwich.
All in one sandwich, and
Wow.
we've got gravy now to dunk it in. But okay, so guess whose favorite sandwich that is in the world?
Tony Colombo.
No. Much higher up in the food chain.
Oh, I don't know.
Jeff
when
Allen?
when they opened the Washington D.C. location, he was the first one in line.
Donald Trump,
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's Joe Biden's favorite sandwich. He was the first one served there. So Capriotti's used to advertise that like crazy back during, a couple elections ago. Now that hasn't been anywhere in anywhere of the advertisements, but because Capriotti started in Delaware,
Oh, okay.
and their campaign had spent tons of money at those Capriotti's locations up there in the Northeast.
So with the economy the way it is, do you see people coming into Capriotti's and ordering less than they would like when Donald Trump was president?
Well, I've only been open 9 months,
Right.
But
okay.
one of the few, we don't get many complaints at all. But one of the things that is a concern, I wouldn't say a complaint, is the price. And it's one of the things that we use premium ingredients is the problem. I mean,
Wagyu
on
beef,
that, Wagyu beef
Oh,
is,
what a problem.
I cry every time I get the bill for that stuff. I mean, we're bringing that from Snake River Farms in Idaho. That stuff isn't cheap. We pull the turkeys every morning by hand. So we've got a lot of labor and a lot of money that goes into these, all the pastrami's and everything where these ingredients are sourced from. So, and that's what I brought you. I brought you a capastrami. I know that's your favorite.
That's his favorite.
That's my favorite.
Okay. So, well, good. I got one.
I
right.
love pastrami. Don't
But I've
worry.
got everything else in the box for you guys. Hold on to this until
For
tonight.
tonight.
No, don't be diving into this.
Keep
here
that away
this
from
morning.
Joey.
Yes,
Joey's-
I
Joey's-
heard about that.
yeah.
I heard about that. So it has been tough. Seeing those comments about the price because we can't really lower them. There's just no way to do it and still pay the rent and pay our employees what we do.
But that's not unique to your company. That's everyone.
That's
right
everywhere.
Now. You've got to take into consideration farmers, truckers. I mean, everything all the way down the chain.
Again, the problem is if you see it, a lot of other companies that are coming out with these deals to try to save the customers and save their market share, they're shrinkflating is what's going on. They're reducing the sandwich size, or they're reducing the amount of ingredients that go on the sandwich, or they're reducing the amount of labor, and then the quality, either the quality falls or the how quick you get it or the accuracy falls. We've got the highest scores in the entire company out of 175 stores. We're number one in customer satisfaction, accuracy, time, and everything else. But the only that comes with a price, unfortunately. So
Yeah, well, you know what? You
the wild thing
play, you gotta pay.
is that still 40 to 50% of our orders come in online, and well, actually it's more like 60, but of those, a lot of them are DoorDash and Uber Eats, and we have to charge 25% more on those sites in order to pay the commissions that go along with that. So people are still spending a lot of money on food going through the third-party retailers. And if you want to save money, go direct to our website or come in the store. Same goes, join the rewards program where you're always going to get 10% back plus the offers and everything else. And I see that on the charcoal side of things too. We still sell a ridiculous amount of charcoal on Amazon when to people here in St. Louis, when you can go over to your local shop and buy it for 2/3 of the cost. So it's about convenience. Convenience does have a price, and it's that people are still paying for convenience.
When you want people to go online, how do they do that? Where do they go?
Go to capriottis.com/free sub, and then you'll get a free sandwich.
Oh, what?
Vic.
Pastrami there for you, buddy.
I know.
Let's talk. Can we talk about the charcoal for a quick second?
Absolutely.
Tell us about it.
Well, it's still the same. It's been the same for 12 years. We haven't changed the ingredients. It's wood and fire, nothing else. And we go in and we use 100% Missouri product, and that's what I set out to do with this company, was to bring Missouri into the forefront of what it's been known for, being the #1 charcoal producing state in the union.
So I got a new deck.
I know.
Okay. I got a new deck, and my wife promised me that I could get a new smoker.
Wonderful.
So I'm going to be, looking for that very soon.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
make sure it's a charcoal one.
Yes.
Don't go pellets.
No.
Don't. Come on.
Right.
He's got a big deck.
I've heard. So what are you guys feeling on the election day?
Jonathan,
I've been listening to you on the way in, and
I'll say it again. Game 7 of the 2011 World Series, Cardinals and Rangers. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs, Blues and Bruins. I said, I am so nervous I could puke. And that's how I feel today.
Yeah. It doesn't even come to the point that I am today. Yes. I'm going to the Blues game tonight. I got to get my mind off of this. I'm taking the kids. We're going to the Blues game.
Jonathan, there's so many factors about this whole thing because there are things in this particular election that have never happened before, number one. There are things that people are taking into account. There are things that are unknowns. There are so many unknowns in this election. But I still go back to the one thing that I believe is that there are people, even on the left, even Democrats, that are saying, oh, I would never vote for Donald Trump. No way. And they go in that booth, they vote for him because they want security. They want the economy to be better. They want to be safer around the world. Then they come out and say, no way, I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Kamala Harris.
Yeah, and I feel the same way, and I hope you're right. I'm more worried about the amendments here in Missouri. That's the scariest thing for me right now.
Yeah.
Well, no on 3, yes on 7. 7.
And I'm a big guy no on 2. I know
I'm no on 2 too. Wait, I'm no on 2 also. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't like that one.
Well, let me tell you something. My wife and I did a little math. Okay. Well, she did the math. I watched her. But $100 million for education. Take that $100 million, divide it by the number of school systems in Missouri, and you get $30,000 a school system, not a school, a district.
And Vic, that's too only if they turn a profit. And any businessman knows that you don't show a profit.
Right.
You continue to open sandwich shops so that you don't have a profit. Things like that. So you don't have to pay the taxes. So that only comes with that. The scarier thing is that I don't like doing is paying the government for the right to have something we should be able to do.
Right.
Whether it's firearms, alcohol, whatever it is, all of that was banned until, we can tax it. Now you can have it.
Right.
So rather than fighting for, exactly, I'm not for that either. I don't gamble, but I don't want to pay the government for the right to do that. We should have fought, and we're conceding to bribe the government to be able to do something we should be able to do already.
Exactly right. Jonathan Heslop from Capriotti Sandwiches. I'm sorry, I should have had this written down. What's the charcoal plan?
Rockwood charcoal.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
It's my fault.
That's all right. If you eat more sandwiches than you do barbecue, I know. So it's all right.
Hey, I'm Italian, okay? What do you want from me?
They have Italian barbecue.
What?
They have Italian.
It's got nothing to do with what he sells over there.
What was that? Remember the movie My Blue Heaven when Steve Martin's talking about Thanksgiving is very big in Sicily. Sweet potato parmesan, and he's trying to convince the prosecutor that's busting him for she's
so funny.
Turkey cacciatore, sweet potato parmesan.
So how's business during the winter versus the spring and summer? Is it pretty much the same?
We're about to find out.
Yeah.
I opened in February. We were slammed those first 2 months at the sandwich shop. So we'll see how it goes. I imagine it's going to drop off in January as the snowbirds leave. But we, July, is a terrible month, whether it be for charcoal or sandwiches, because everybody's out of town. That's when I go on vacation too. So it's we'll see what's coming.
I want to send out a word to your staff over there. They're very good, very friendly, very nice.
So this morning, I've got a couple workers from Mexico. They are hilarious. They are so much fun. They're great workers. They got in late. Manchester's, all those places along there in that valley, they're closed. Rock Hill and such, because of the water and everything. Well, they got there late. So we started joking around how many times they voted this morning. We were all having a good time. So, but they made these sandwiches for you, and
so much,
they made them
Jonathan.
with love. And hang on to these till later this afternoon.
I will eat them with love.
Yes,
Yes, he
sir.
will.
Thank you so much.
Glad to be here anytime.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Jonathan Heslop from Heslop. I said your name wrong 3 times today. Nobody told me I'm saying it wrong. You say it.
Heslop.
Heslop.
Jonathan Heslop.
Yep.
Capriotti's and Rockwood Charcoal.
That's it's not an Italian name.
It's not, is it?
No.
It's okay. It's okay.
Williams isn't either, but we deal with it.
We got to win, Jonathan. We got to win.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Have a great day.
It'll determine whether or not the future locations are going to be opened.
Enjoy the Blues game. Wait, what did you just say? Future locations of Capriotti's?
It will. I mean, why would I go and spend
there's
another
a lot more at stake in this election?
Why would I go out and spend millions of dollars to open more locations if I'm never going to benefit from turning a profit on it?
Oh my God.
Exactly.
All right. Have fun at the Blues game. If they can count all the votes quick, maybe they'll put it up on the big thing.
We'll see.
Right.
I just got to get my mind off it. So me and the boys will be there at the Blues game.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Let's go Blues. All right. We got to dig into these sandwiches here. Okay?
I know.
So let's do that. Dr. Randy Tobler coming up at 10:05. Jamie Allman is Jamie coming in? Do you know, or is he on the phone?
I'm not sure. Either whatever Jamie decides to do, we'll find out when he gets here.
If he calls us, he's a loser.
He's always on his way in.
I'm kidding. But we do love Jamie Allman every night, 8 to 10 here. Right after, are you kidding me? After Larry Connor's USA and then Jamie Allman?
Yeah.
That's like unbelievable firepower there. And Drew Thomas Allen at the end of the show at 10:41. Okay, so if you haven't voted, guess what? Today's the day. And if you haven't voted, by the way, you look like the smartest guy in the room, because all the lines are short today because everybody voted already.
Right.
So I count myself in that. We're going to vote this afternoon. Okay, Ken.
Oh, so you're the smart guy.
I am the smart. What?
Huh.
All right. News and then Dr. Tobler on News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Whoosh.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Live and local.
Welcome home. And whoosh, sitting in traffic, stuck in a jam, and being entertained by Vic and thunder-stealing Ken.
This is News Talk STL.
Attention, Missouri Republicans. Donald Trump Jr. has endorsed Amendment 2. Don Jr. calls legalizing sports betting a no-brainer for Missouri. Right now, 38 states allow sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 will give Missouri fans the freedom to bet too, and that means our money will stay at home instead of going to other states. Legalizing sports betting will generate more than $100 million for Missouri schools without raising property taxes. That's why our Republican candidate for governor, Mike Kehoe, is joining Donald Trump Jr. in supporting Amendment 2. Generating more money for Missouri schools without raising property taxes, giving Missouri fans the freedom to bet on games. Donald Trump Jr. has it right. Voting yes on Amendment 2 is a no-brainer for Missouri Republicans. Join Don Jr. in saying yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
This is Tony Colombo, and my favorite Capriotti sandwich is the cheesesteak made with American Wagyu beef from Snake River Farms, and you have to include a side of their amazing fries. I love Capriotti's, and you will too.
Open 9 to 9 daily on Manchester and McKnight in Rock Hill.
America Decides 2024.
Harry J's Steakhouse in Moscow Mills brings you Election Night 2024. You have to get out and vote. Election results, analysis, and opinion from the local conservative voices you know and trust.
Republicans, Democrats,
Independents.
Coverage begins tonight at 7 with St. Louis's true conservative voice.
right here.
News Talk STL. Brought to you by Piccadilly Palace and Patriot Powder Coating and Iron Bear Customs.
How are the trees, shrubs, bushes, and all of your other valuable outdoor assets doing at your home or business? Tim Jones here to remind you that Hanson's Tree Service at hansonstree.com is your one-stop shop for all your tree care needs and so much more. From top-notch tree services to outstanding organic mulch, green resource recycling, grinding and land clearing, and more, let Hanson's team of expert insured arborists take care of your yard so it looks the best it can be as we head towards fall. Get a free quote, book an appointment today at hansonstree.com. That's hansonstree.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
This hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Turnout said to be brisk as Americans head out to vote on this election day. The presidential candidates have presented their closing arguments to the voters, including in Pennsylvania, which is one of 7 all-important swing states.
19 electoral college votes are at stake in Pennsylvania.
If we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole ball of wax.
Donald Trump says he could walk away with the greatest political event in history. Kamala Harris says this is one of the most consequential elections in her lifetime. Harris says there is a stark difference between the campaigns.
This has not been about a fight that is against something. This is about a fight that is for something.
Correspondent Ed Donahue reporting. White House correspondent Greg Clugston, he's back in Washington after his tour of the Blue Wall states, takes a look at what the candidates are up to today.
The vice president returned to Washington after wrapping up her campaign in Pennsylvania last night. Tonight, she'll hold a watch party at her alma mater, Howard University in D.C. Trump, who gave his final stump speech in Michigan, flew back to Florida, where he plans to hold an election night event at his Mar-a-Lago estate in West Palm Beach. Meanwhile, President Biden will await the results at the White House. Greg Clugston, Washington.
If he wins the White House, former President Trump says he would warn Mexico that if it doesn't stop the flood of illegal aliens and drugs into the U.S., it will face a stiff 25% tariff on all of its exports to America. The Texas Secretary of State Jay Nelson telling the Justice Department to keep its election inspectors out of Texas polling places and to steer clear of the state's election process, warning that such interference runs afoul of state law. Watching Wall Street this morning, stocks sharply higher. The Dow is up 292 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index ahead 163. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Our nation's problems have been building for the past 50 years, and they're not going away overnight, which is why we must prepare now for a financial collapse that will affect the entire economy. The good news is there's an easy way to do that. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe everyone should consider a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group to diversify their IRA or 401k. Gold is a proven bedrock in almost every kind of economy. To learn more, get a free info kit from my trusted friends at Birch Gold by texting the word PREPARE to 989898. Don't wait until decades of government irresponsibility comes crashing down on your retirement. Get your free info kit on gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group now. Text PREPARE to the number 989898. That's PREPARE to 989898.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a rough start here on Election Day. Steady rain, areas of flooding, more than 6 inches of total rainfall for parts of the metro. But things improve midday and into the afternoon as the rain gradually shuts down from west to east. Nearly steady temps today in the mid-60s to near 70. Some clearing tonight as drier air settles in, down to 48 for the low, patchy fog. Wednesday and Thursday bring much needed dry time with highs in the low to mid-60s. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Proctor Drapery Blinds and Shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
All right, hour number 2 ready to roll, courtesy of the great Ken Williams. Ken, really great show you put together again, man.
Thanks, Vic.
Election day, go time, everything like that. And all the election results you need will be right here tonight. Election results with Tony Colombo and me.
Vic.
It's all about Vic. We'll be in the studio. Ken and everybody else will be reporting and letting us know what's going on, chat box stuff. And all brought to you by Harry J. Steakhouse in Moscow Mills and Piccadilly Palace in Union. Doctor's in.
I don't know. We've had that looked at.
Randy Tobler.
You guys are ahead of the curve. You probably took your masks off a couple weeks before the CDC said it was okay.
Now, Dr. Randy Tobler.
What's up, Doc?
Good morning, Dr. Tobler.
Good morning. What's going on, Mr. Vic?
Oh, nothing going on at all. So nervous I could puke. So here we go. Election, 81 million votes have already been cast. I guess those were all for Joe Biden, right? 81 million votes. Isn't that his number?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So the early voting was an outstanding success, I think, for our side, don't you?
I don't know. All we know is we have very broad numbers in terms of some Republican gains. I'm as or more excited about, at least in Pennsylvania and some of the other places, increases in Republican registration relative to Democrat. Now, did those people vote? Will they vote? Who did they vote for? Presumably they're going to vote for Trump. I don't know. You know what? I guess what it's going to come down to is, do people love abortion more than they hate Trump?
I'm so glad
I really think that's what it's about.
I am so glad you said that. So you want to go to the grocery store and pay 40% more for your groceries. You want to pay $3 a gallon for gas. You want more illegal immigration to come in and illegals killing American women just so you can get an abortion? Really?
No, I agree. And do you want in your daughter or your sister or your mom's locker room or, playing field, bathroom, do you want guys with their junk hanging out, in the wrong places? I mean, is that more important to more women than abortion? I would think it may be, just by the numbers. I mean, in terms of day-to-day interactions and the way we live our lives. But I don't know. I heard one of the analysts this morning talking about, she's on the ground in, I think it was Selena Zito, on the ground in Pennsylvania. And she says, this is not as much about the gender gap as it is the married women with kids gap versus the unmarried women or the women without kids. Right. I thought it was an interesting analysis. And I think when the deep dive is taken into the numbers afterwards, I think these are the kind of questions that the parties will be looking at and, either scratching their heads and like, how did we miss it? Or, we were right on. So I think there's going to be some interesting surprises. I think the weather in Wisconsin is going to be very, very interesting. It's not good in northern Wisconsin, I understand, and parts of Michigan. Is that going to keep rural voters out, whereas city voters find it a lot easier to get to the polls? They have public transportation. They got car. They don't have to go over rock roads, gravel, mud, mess. I don't know. We'll have to see.
We better get those rurals to the
That's what I mean. Because I think Wisconsin is a potential sleeper. I
agree.
I understand it. If Trump wins Georgia, Nevada, Las Vegas, and Arizona and North Carolina, he could lose Pennsylvania and Michigan and win Wisconsin and still take it, right? Or am I?
No, you're absolutely right.
That's right.
And you got a million thoughts in my head now. I want to get to all of them, but I want to stay on abortion for a second. I said this a few times this week, and if I'm wrong, you tell me. Besides rape, incest, and health of the mother, why would you want an abortion? Because you got pregnant, you don't want daddy to find out? I mean, really, what would be the reason?
Well, about 95% of abortions are done for convenience reasons. I mean, crisis pregnancies, no support, wasn't counting on it, can't afford it, I don't have any, support. Birth control failed, I'm in school, I've got a career ahead of me, those kind of things.
Close your legs.
That's what the numbers show.
Yep.
And so there are a small percentage that are done because of those other exceptions. And at the end of the day, I think that when this Amendment 3 comes down, speaking of that, I hope that people are hearing the hue and cry from many of us. And I think a lot of people that are on the pro-life side have said, hey, Our pro-life bill has been counterproductive in Missouri because there are flaws with it that don't provide safe harbors for doctors and patients that are making very reasonable, very common sense, medically sound decisions that may mean expediting a miscarriage that's inevitable when it still has a heartbeat. But everyone's afraid to do that. With some sensible legislation, and we can argue about some gestational age accommodations there to reflect where the population is, we wouldn't be even talking Amendment 3. And that's what saddens me. I hope people are hearing that it's too big, too expansive, too vague, too broad, and the legislative solution is the answer, not the constitutional amendment.
You mentioned some sleeper states like Wisconsin. This is a crazy theory, okay? But then again, I'm crazy. What, maybe Donald Trump can win New Hampshire. How about that? Maybe.
It's interesting. I mean, do you think that's a bellwether? I mean, what was it, tied today, 3-3 or something crazy? And, what Biden, what did he win by 5 votes or something?
He got all 6.
So
Biden got all
6
6 in 20.
Yeah.
Got all 6. Okay, so is that a bellwether? Or are 6 voters a bellwether? I don't know. I've said it. I'm landing on that's either going to be Harris by a whisker or a silent majority substantial win for Trump. I don't know which one, but I think that's where I'm placing my lots at this point.
What about, sounds crazy, guys, just stay with me. What about New Jersey?
You know that better than I.
Well, I'll tell you, 100,000 people, 100,000 people showed up for a rally in Wildwood. And I got to tell you, Wildwood is an island in New Jersey, just off the coast of New Jersey. I mean, it's where I used to go. And 100,000 people to invade that city means something to me. And, Ken, you know what, Ken? Your little thing about people, I hate Trump, blah, 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 but go vote for him anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's valid. Have you ever heard Ken say your thing?
No, my thing is, Dr. Tobler, and I've always believed this, at least with Trump in particular, is that, I hate Trump, I'm never voting for that guy. And then going into the booth, voting for Trump, coming back out and say, nope, voted for Harris. I'm all about Harris.
I love this theory. What do you think, Dr. Tobler?
I think there are very few for Harris votes. I think there are an awful lot of anti-Trump votes that are going Harris's way, but they're not truly for Harris. When I look at our text line on my show, it just seems as though there's several folks that tell me over and over, I've voted Republican over and over and over. I just can't do it for a guy that, makes like he's having oral sex with the microphone and he this and that. And you know what I mean? And I get into tips with them. I take the bait. But these people are dug in. They are just dug in, no matter how vacant Kamala Harris is. That's the weird thing. To me, it sort of discredits their analysis of the Trump problem when they really can't put their finger on anything about Harris. I mean, that's how dug in they are.
Okay, Dr. Tobler, I just saw a meme last night, and this is about as ridiculous as it actually is. If those people are listening right now, you're a fool, okay? Period. Because here's why. On this meme this particular meme that I saw, atomic bombs were going off. The person was looking out in a glowing world, and they said, "Well, at least I didn't vote for Trump."
Right, and that's it. No matter what happens bad in the world, well, I didn't vote for Trump. It's just
how many women do you think that the women who watch the Harris ad? It's sort of a weird, cynical, to me, a creepy ad. It's like, hey, don't tell your husband who you're voting. Do they think that most husbands are like Doug Emhoff?
Yeah.
I mean, do they think most husbands are sort of abusers?
That's what they're trying to say.
Domineering.
Abusers.
I mean, it's a condescending way to think of America's marriage relationships. For crying out loud, it's really a gross ad. It's weird.
That's what they're really trying to say is that men beat up their wives, and so I got to vote the way my husband says.
Yeah, if you're on the right, then your husband probably is dominating you right now. So just don't tell him and go vote.
All right, I want to talk about people who have come out for Donald Trump that. I don't know if it was surprising or not, but it's good to see. And I didn't even know this guy existed until last night. But in Pittsburgh, Donald Trump brought out Roberto Clemente Jr., right? The great baseball legend's son. And he endorsed Donald Trump. And I think the Joe Rogan endorsement is great, too.
Oh, I think that's powerful. Not to mention Megyn Kelly. I mean, look. When you got Megyn Kelly, one strong, powerful, accomplished, independent woman who happens to have children and a husband and really sort of putting it all together, dominating, at least if she's in the top, few podcasts out there saying, look, Donald Trump will protect us. Women want protection from a guy like Trump against men in their spaces. And by the way, Donald Trump will protect our men too, like the guys behind me. And she points to all the guys with the hard hats on. Yeah. That was a powerful message.
Yeah, it really was. Let's hear
Rogan, for crying out loud. That's great stuff.
Let's hear a little bit from Megyn Kelly last night in Pittsburgh.
And so here I am at a Trump rally, a strong, intelligent woman to prove Mark Cuban wrong again. I won't take up much of your time, but I do want to tell you the main reasons I am voting for Donald Trump. Number one, immigration. He mentioned it. And people like Laken Riley. I'll be thinking about her tomorrow all day. 22 years old, killed in Georgia, a young nursing student by an illegal. I'll be thinking about Jocelyn Nungare, 12 years old, in Texas, murdered by 2 Venezuelan illegals. President Trump closed the border. Kamala Harris opened it by choice. It wasn't accidental. She said it would be humane. That's what she and her boss believed. Tell it to Laken Riley's family. There was nothing humane about it. He closed it. They opened it. It was an intentional choice, and there's no reason not to believe they won't do it again.
Pretty powerful stuff, Doctor.
It is. I mean, and look, she and Elon Musk and Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Rogan, I mean, those kind of voices under the Republican tent would have been unheard of. Well, I would say before Trump, right? I mean, they just would have been persona non grata. And now they're like, welcome with open arms. Well, welcome into the big new tent. That's exciting for a lot of us, you know?
Sure is.
On the other hand, you know, we'll have to see whether the aspirational platitudes, which appeal to the emotional, fairly uninformed voter, along with that's all that Harris has recently against. So it's basically platitudes, ambiguities of fluff and cotton candy, along with hate Trump and abortion and a little bit of break the glass ceiling. Is that going to overcome common sense, traditional values, recognizing biological realities and economic and sovereignty realities? That's what's on the table.
It's exactly what's on the table. And it's either going to be, you know what, Ken? Let's do a little test here and see, because Ken's the boss, you know, and he's he runs a strict show here. I got to tell you, okay? I'm just not allowed to do whatever I want or say whatever I want. He keeps me in check. And
I know that nose ring that he leads you around by, that has to hurt.
It does, man. Yeah, it does. So I just want to make sure if there's because I think Trump, I hope Trump wins big tonight, but there's certain words I'm not allowed to say. Let me check with Ken. Ken, can I say red wave, red tsunami, avalanche, landslide? God, you see how he runs the show, Doctor?
What about?
Yes,
you got one more? You got any more?
How about if he just wins?
If he just what?
Just wins. All right, good. We'll take it.
Well, as important of a Trump win is a House and a Senate win.
Yes,
right?
You're right.
Without those tools, he can't accomplish what he needs to.
And what are your thoughts about that? Keep the win the Senate?
I think the Senate will probably be 50-50 or better, which is if he wins, all you need, because you got JD casting the tie-breaking vote. A little more worried about the House because, we talked with Congressman Luetkemeyer on our show yesterday, and he made an interesting point. He said, some of the more Freedom Caucus type folks in the House forced some votes on issues to be taken by purple, let's call them purple district moderate Republicans in New York. I think there's a couple in California, forget where else. And those people were forced to take votes that could hurt them in their district. Now, you can argue whether they should have been forced to take those votes or whether the greater good is to, force those issues or not. But that could hurt the Republican slim majority. On the other hand, I mean, look, if this is a red W, get out your buzzer. Maybe they win handily, and this is an inflection point election.
Handily's pretty good, though.
Oh wow, Ken, we'll accept handily. All right.
Handily, that's nice.
That works.
Yeah, I like that.
Dr. Tobler, always great to have you, and you know what? It's great to have you on the Trump side because I know you were a little, you know how you were. with Donald Trump in the early
I'll
days.
leave you with some. I'll leave you with some potential sour grapes. If he loses by a whisker, I do get to call back and say, "I told you so."
All right, but if he wins in any way, we're playing Ode to Joy, and you're going to do your little Ode to Joy.
All right, good for you.
Dance. Is that okay?
All right. All right.
Thanks,
Talk
Dr.
to you,
Tobler.
brother.
Dr. Tobler every Saturday morning, 6 to 9 o'clock. Every morning in Columbia on the Eagle.
Yeah,
and I think we got him. I think we got Dr. Tobler, don't you?
I think so. Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, the king of conservative radio, Jamie Allman, next on Election Day 2024 on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Number one for live and local conservative talk.
Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL. This is the real Kamala Harris.
What would you do about the millions of specifically assault weapons that are already in circulation? What do you do about those?
Well, there are approximately 5 million, to your point, Craig. We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program. It's got to be smart. We got to do it the right way.
The real Kamala Harris on the Vic Porcelli Show on News Talk STL. This Dr. Randy Tobler segment is brought to you by Advanced Dentistry Now. Doctors Dan Cusimano and Dr. Megan Dwyer, 636-978-0226, or visit them on the web at advanceddentistrynow.com.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
State Representative Philip Olerking stands up for Missouri families. Every day, he fights to make St. Louis County a safe, affordable place to raise a family and build a future. Philip led the charge to freeze property taxes for seniors, protect middle-class income, and fully fund our police. He's proven he puts families, not special interests, first. We have a choice. Keep St. Louis County strong with Philip Olerking, or risk letting those who want to weaken our communities take over. Vote Philip Olerking, the leader who stands up for Missouri families.
Paid for by Foundations for Liberty. Jacob Loft, Treasurer.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion. St. Louis is number one for conservative talk. News Talk STL.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Never rat on your friends and always keep your mouth shut.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis.
You are tonight An assassin tried to stop our movement. And this is the greatest political movement by far in the history of our country. Tried to stop it. But that brush with death did not stop us. It only made us more determined to finish the job that we had only just started. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is a frisky group. Many people say that God saved me in order to save America. Many people are saying that. And with your help, we will fulfill that extraordinary mission together. We're going to save our country.
You bet. Today's the day, everybody. If you haven't voted, get out there and vote, vote, vote. Fight, fight, fight. And win, win, win. He was up till 1 o'clock in the morning doing a rally in Michigan last night.
I know, man.
I think he deserved your vote. He was going to turn this country around, make America safe and healthy and great again. Don't worry. He's coming.
Remember, they're coming after me because I'm standing up for you. The big lie is a lot of bullshit. That's what it is.
Yes, we need more blue language in the White House, too, by the way.
Yes,
I'd
we
like
do.
to say. All right, let's talk to the king of conservative radio, the great Jamie Allman. Jamie, how are you?
Hey, brother, how you doing? That's quite an intro. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well,
What's
man.
going on, man? You know what I'm looking forward to today? And I think this happened in the last couple of days. And I'm looking forward to all the liberals and the Trump haters who voted for Trump today.
Yeah.
Because they wound up finally realizing that as intolerable as they might see Donald Trump personally, his policies, his action, his energy, his stamina, his intelligence, and the smart people around him and the great people behind him are way too much to take over their minds and then have them just simply vote for a dimwit like Kamala Harris. So I think those last-minute decisions made, because you know your vote is private, are going to go towards Trump. So I think it's going to be a bigger victory than we even anticipate. And the best part about this is we're probably going to do it without a bunch of rhino Republicans. So it'll spell the end of them and the beginning of a great movement, as you just pointed out, a movement of common sense. And I love it when he talked about the golden age. It was so old school, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. I loved it. That we're approaching the golden age of this country. And, you know, just to dovetail a little bit on what you were saying, Jamie, the never Trumpers, you know, who could have really screwed things up. You know, I think now is the time to understand. And if you didn't until today, then I don't know what's wrong with you, that it's a binary decision, good against evil, America versus communism. And if they go to the polls, they got to vote for Trump, even the never Trumpers.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I think, Vic, you know, one of these things, I'm not a vengeful person.
I am.
But I will tell you, I don't know whether this is called revenge or not. I will tell you that this is a wonderful time. If Trump wins, which I'm sure he will, this is a wonderful time to go ahead and fumigate the party. And if we have to put every rhino and every never Trumper on some kind of garbage barge and float them out to sea and deport them, we should, because the Republican Party will continue on, reformed and reformulated by us, by this coalition of all people from all walks of life who are Trump supporters. I mean, the diversity of the Trump supporting crowd is nothing short of incredible. And the Republican Party, in many ways, doesn't deserve Donald Trump, but it is what it is. And now that we have the party, it's time to go ahead and tell the other people to take off, take a hike, find your own thing, go the way of the Whigs. We don't care.
Hey, Jamie, I've always maintained that Biden was getting his orders directly from Obama. And Kamala Harris now, she is a complete bad B movie production. And here, I just want to give you an example. We played this earlier this morning, okay? This is 3 separate rallies side by side that one of the Trump team put together. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but listen to what she does here. It's exactly, even her hand movements are the same.
Are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America?
She doesn't have a brain cell to do any unique anything, Jamie. What do you think about that?
It's why I said earlier that I do believe even liberals are finding out this choice for Donald Trump is a must do, even if they don't like him personally, because the risk of having someone like her, who actually, because of her dim-wittery, must be controlled by other people, much the way Biden was, and because of his senility. So what's happening is they're not really getting anybody in there who's a real human being, authentic or otherwise. And so she's going to be another automaton programmed by a bunch of people they don't know. And I'm telling you, look at all of the left-leaning journalists, people like Glenn Greenwald and Taibbi, who used to be with the Rolling Stone. And all these guys have made that similar calculation. They're saying, hey, the party that we know of it is way too left and way too woke and way too authoritarian. And we just don't even identify with that party anymore and can't allow it to succeed. And in fact, you know what? There are some people who even believe that a Trump victory will force the Democrat Party to go back and reformulate itself into something other than it used to be. Same way Trump turned the Republican Party around into something that is attractive and golden, even to people who otherwise wouldn't have voted Republican. So there are some people who are seeing this as a possibly a situation where you can essentially euthanize the Kamala wing of the Democrat Party with a Trump victory and force the Democrat Party to be something stronger. If people are really interested in that, they'll vote for Trump even if they don't like him.
And, you know, liberals are paying more at the grocery store like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Liberals are paying more for gas, you know. So vote for Trump and you can afford the baby instead of having an abortion.
Right, exactly. I mean, I laugh because it's so commonsensical. And it's so easy, and it's such an easy calculation for normal people to make. I mean, everything, even the liberals who want to go on vacation. I mean, everybody has the same desires. And once you start to gut their pocketbook, so they can't even really play around and be crazy liberals anymore because they can't afford to, that's when they're going to really start a corrective process. And I think that's going to be this one. And I mean, I'm seeing the possibility of a 313, maybe even more electoral.
Wow. I love that.
But here's the thing, though, you guys. About a month and a half ago, maybe, my prediction was that Trump would lose the popular vote like he did with Hillary and win the Electoral College. The popular vote doesn't matter in any way, shape, or form, thank God, and thank the Founding Fathers. But the reality is now I'm actually to the point where I think he's going to win the popular vote, too. And that's something, and I'm telling you what, even in 2020, Trump received more votes than any Republican has ever received in the history of the party. And so, I mean, this could be monster. I'm just sensing it. It's really one of those things where I don't want to be overconfident, but in 2016, I kind of felt like this around this time of day when the polls were just slammed, and we could see it over progression of time, and they were slammed in all the right places, as you all know, God's country South and God's country West. And there was this kind of weird silence in the media and beyond. Everybody was just kind of like not talking. That's because they knew that by the time the morning was over, that the election was over too. And I'm sensing that even as I kind of gauge into media, even left-wing media, it's kind of taken on this death watch almost.
Yeah.
And that's how I sense it. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm wishful thinking, but that's how I feel about it. Like, this is 2016 all over again.
All right, listen. Tonight we're going to be monitoring your show, okay? And we want to make sure, because Ken runs a tough ship here. He doesn't screw around, okay? So there are some words that you will not be allowed to say tonight during the 8 to 10 Jamie Allman show. Let's just check with Ken. Ken, can Jamie say red wave, red tsunami, landslide, avalanche? What about Trump just winning? There you go. There's your rules for tonight, Jamie. I also want to say, before we let you go, thanks for the guidance. He said,
yeah, really.
You are a master of making up words. Okay. I was listening to you one night and you said bull crappery. The Democrats are going to do more of their bull crappery.
Like that.
This morning on this show, you said dim-wittery, which I love. And then you just said commonsensical. So keep up. We're going to have.
And you liked automaton too.
I did like automaton. So we're going to make a book of Jamie's words.
Hey, you know what? It's just all you have to do is add an ing or an ery to pretty much everything, or an ical. And you got it on.
Hey, Jamie, I was talking to somebody last night, a friend of mine who was going to vote today, and he said, I'm voting still, but, I was kind of thinking about maybe not, because in Missouri, Trump's going to win for sure. I said, listen to me. I want him to win the popular vote as well, and that's how we contribute in Missouri to Trump's win. I want him to win the popular vote along with the electoral vote, man. I want him to just annihilate them.
Yeah, I haven't voted yet. I'm voting today. I waited till today, and I did try one day to vote like at 6 o'clock in the evening and didn't realize that they closed like at 4:30. And so, and it's not because I don't trust the system or anything like that. There's something just about voting on election day that I like. And so
me too.
It seems like so American and so cool. And so I've been waiting until today to vote.
Me too.
I'm still going to do that. Yeah, brother.
All right.
Yeah,
So listen,
brother.
We'll let you go. But before we go, have you heard Ken's drunken Kamala yet? Have you heard Ken?
No, Ken.
Okay. Here it comes. Hi, Madam Vice President. I'm Fred. I'm your bartender.
Hi, Fred.
So what do you think about Donald Trump, Madam Vice President?
Oh, he's evil.
No.
He's evil, Fred.
No.
You listen to me. No, he's evil because he says I'm evil.
But listen, he has better policies than you. He knows what he's doing. He's been there before. You haven't gotten any votes.
Yeah, but okay, but that doesn't matter. Fred, listen to me. He is evil, and he's Hitler. And so I don't need votes because I am right. I don't need votes. I'm right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Ken Williams and drunken Kamala.
Awesome. And I love it when drunk people try to say Hitler. It's just
Hitler.
Fred. All right, listen, Jamie, we'll be listening tonight.
All right, you guys.
8 to 10.
Love you, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, Ken.
Love you, Jamie.
Jamie Allman, king of conservative radio in St. Louis. Don't you think he's
no king, man?
I'm like the court jester. Put Vic out there to make us laugh. Drew Thomas Allen. Anything can happen in the next 22 minutes on this show. Let's hope we still have our license. On 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home. Yeah, I cheated.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. This is the real Kamala Harris.
I know that there are protests still happening in major cities across the United States.
They're not going to stop. And this is a movement. I'm telling you, they're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And everyone should take note of that on both levels, that they're not going to let up, and they should not. And we should not.
the real Kamala Harris on the Vic Porcelli Show on NewstalkSTL.
Ken, listen. No, I'm sorry. Can I correct something that I said earlier today?
Yeah.
When our boss walked in and said, "Are you stupid?" I said, "Yes." Why this time?
What?
Jamie is not going to be on tonight from 8 to 10 because we have our election coverage.
Of course.
So I apologize to Jamie. I apologize to you people.
No, that's okay.
Listen, Fred. Okay. How about a career at the Air Force or the Space Force? We had people from the Air Force in here. 2 former people in the Air Force. One you may know, Senator Bill Eichel was in the Air Force. His wife was in the Air Force. And Staff Sergeant Jeremy Jefferson was here as well. And he's the guy that you're going to call, by the way, if you want more information on things like a great competitive starting salary, free education opportunities, 30 days of vacation with pay each year. Ken, do we get 30 days?
No.
Comprehensive medical and dental care, tax-free food. Tax-free food and good food, right?
The best food in the armed forces.
Best food. There's over 200 different careers. You can retire after 20 years. It's a darn good career for you. So call Staff Sergeant Jeremy Jefferson at 314-295-6834 or drop by their office and 141 on Manchester, just west of 141. 314-295-6834 for the Air and Space Force.
News, analysis, opinion.
You know, they're literally taking the Constitution and putting it in a paper shredder.
NewstalkSTL.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are ignoring kitchen table issues. Liberals are fighting to defund the police, indoctrinate kids, open the border, and put boys in girls' sports. I'm Ann Wagner. The people I talk to know better. Let's work for what matters most. Lower costs, parents' rights, and safer streets.
Ann Wagner is working for common sense solutions to the problems you face. She's challenged the big government machine in Washington and delivered a tax cut for middle-class families. Ann has stood with parents to defend their right to make decisions on the upbringing, education, and care of their children, protecting our kids from radical leftist indoctrination. And as crime rises, Ann has worked to protect our safety by fighting efforts to defund our brave police.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message. So pull up a chair, and together we'll turn the tables on Washington.
Fighting for your family. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
With the average funeral bill over $9,000, are your loved ones prepared? Speak with Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial. Contact Benjamin at memorialplans.com. Memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial. Everlasting protection.
News commentary.
It's hard to believe there are still undecided voters out there, but here's my message to you. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Our nation's economic problems have been building for the past 50 years, and they're not going away overnight. Dr. Ron Paul here, and this is why I recommend diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold, a proven bedrock in any economy, with my friends at Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get a free info kit on gold. Text the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Out there who are on the fence and thinking about casting your vote for Kamala because you hate Trump, ask yourself if you can really afford to vote based on personality. To those women out there who are going to vote Kamala based solely on abortion, can you afford to do that? Jennifer Aniston can, J-Lo can, Lady Gaga, Beyonce, Katy Perry, Reese Witherspoon can, but can you? Can you afford to pay for your grocery bill and your energy bill and your mortgage payment and fund 2 foreign endless wars and 15 million illegal immigrants? If you can, by all means, vote Kamala. If you're ready and willing to send your son or daughter to fight in Kamala and Liz Cheney's endless wars, go ahead and vote for Kamala. If your visceral reaction to what Trump says is more important to you than all of those things, then vote for Kamala. But if you by chance don't have that luxury, well, I urge you to vote for the man who made America great before, and he can do it again. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
It's finally here, Election Day. At 4:20, we'll speak with David Stokes of the Show Me Institute, and at 5:20, we'll speak with Dr. Randy Tobler.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Proctor Drapery Blinds and Shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Biden's being Biden's being an extremist.
Son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Yep, sure is. Let's not waste any time. Let's get our next guest going. Am I drunk already? It's not even like poll closing time. Play Drew's thing and let's go.
Wow. Drew Allen of the Drew Allen Show podcast.
It's people who love this country and respect freedom and want to preserve it for the future. You know, it really shouldn't be political.
Amico mio, come stai?
Ciao, buongiorno, Ciccio. Sono molto contento.
All right. I got to spend a week with Drew Allen. Teach me Italian. Good morning, Drew. How are you, buddy?
Hey, ciao, buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Come stai?
Perfetto, bene, grazie. Andiamo.
Oh. He's like, let's go. Andiamo means let's go. America's Last Stand. Will you vote to save or destroy America in 2024 by Drew Allen, our guest. Drew, we thought it'd be cool since we screwed up our time today and didn't get to the chat box. If we can read some stuff and have you comment on some of our listeners. How's that?
Love to. The listeners are the show, baby.
You go. Strophius said, just brave the floods to cast my vote in communist Illinois.
Yeah.
Illinois is a communist state. You know that, right?
Yeah, Drew knows that.
I'm in California.
California says, hold my beer.
Hold my beer, right.
Competition? Yeah.
The only person that knows the real Kamala Harris is Willie Brown.
That's awesome.
Amen. There are a few others that aren't as famous, probably, but yeah, he's definitely the most prominent one that knows her.
I don't know how in the Willie Brown she got any job.
Biblically speaking.
Yeah.
So 101 straight up says he's not a husband, he's a token, just like she is.
Yep.
Talking about Dougie, right?
He's the supporting he's the supporting cast member in this whole actor thing.
Yeah, Doug Imhoff. He's a beacon of masculinity who punches women in the head.
Bring on
and sleeps with his nanny anyway.
Oh my
Bring
God.
on the nannies is what he said. Bring on the nannies. We have a guy, we told you about Ed Stoit, right? Everything the Democrats say, the opposite is true. One of our listeners, actually, their handle on Rumble is Ed Stoit. And every day he says, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And then he says, no fair elections.
No peace.
No fair elections.
No peace.
Today's the day, Ken.
No peace.
No peace, man. What are your thoughts on what's going to happen today, by the way?
Well, look, I can't predict the outcome any more than Lincoln could predict the outcome of the Civil War. My feeling is very positive. I feel like we are going to win. But, you know, even the outcome aside, I'm just so encouraged because, you know, the sleeping giant really has been awakened. I've been waiting for this moment for 4 years, truly. I mean, just, you know, breathlessly, you know, like so many Americans. And, you know, I wrote a piece on my Substack and I was comparing it. You know, I still feel this outrage over what's happened in the last 4 years. But, you know, it's like it's the same outrage Jesus expressed when he flipped over the tables of the merchants and tax, you know, lenders and kicked him out of the temple. So, you know, they defiled, you know, his house. And the Democrats and Kamala Harris and Biden have defiled this house, our temple of liberty, for 4 years. And now's the moment of truth, baby. It's the time to flip over the tables and throw them out.
Yep. Speaking of Willie Brown, Doug said that Kamala put her head down and got to work. So here you go.
At least he's honest.
Oh, at least he's honest. Charles says, vote. David Sylvester says, let's roll. That's very patriotic.
Yeah.
Amy. Okay. So Ken, new listener to the chat box. Her name is Laura. Can you welcome Laura to the show?
Hey, how you doing?
Thank you, Laura. Good morning. Amazing team, she says. How about a prayer? Too long. The prayer is too long. Can't do it because we're out of time. That's my fault. Good morning, Vic Heads. Illinois side, don't forget to vote yes for separation consideration. So there's a guy who listens to this show, Drew. His name is Dave, and he's trying to get a portion of Illinois to secede from the state. They're a big conservative part of the state. What do you think about that?
I mean, if I was in his situation, I'd be hoping for the same thing. That's the best possible outcome. I mean, that's kind of how I feel in California. You know, leave me alone. Let me have my peace. But, you know, the reality is they'll never do that because Democrats can't allow anyone to have freedom and liberty and happiness. They have to destroy everyone together. It's like Lincoln. We'll become all thing all one thing or another. There is no half slave, half free, because they are determined to enslave all of us. So I like the sentiment, but we got to beat them all the way, everywhere.
And Vic, I want to play this for one of the listeners who mentioned it on the chat box.
Yeah. Kamala did what Kamala always does. She just put her head down and she went to work.
What in the Willie Brown does that mean?
I don't even. I can't even. Why are we playing that? What does that mean? Maybe
you know what it means.
Doug Emhoff, he's the one who knows what it means.
Maybe he meant the nanny put her head down and got to
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think Doug does. I don't think Doug does know what that means actually. In his anyway, I will stop.
I get it. I get it.
She just put her head down and she went to work.
Both of you stop getting us in trouble. Stop it now. All right. So to wrap things up here, Drew, you know that Joe Biden called us garbage, right? Trump supporters are garbage. And then he said, those MAGA Republicans, I like to smack them in the ass. So yesterday, one of our listeners put in the chat box, well, slap my ass and call me garbage.
Oh, my gosh. I know what my Halloween costume is going to be next year.
Uh-oh. I don't want to know. Don't want to know.
I see a garbage bag with one of those. You know, one of those prosthetic butt cheeks. You know those prosthetic butt cheeks. You have a garbage bag with,
or a garbage bag with a big handprint on the ass.
Yeah. I'll bring my wife with me. She can engage in some PDA. You know, she can slap my butt all the way down the street.
Tell her to slap my ass and call me garbage. All right. So Drew, your whole book is about today, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. It's about this moment. It's about this moment in our history.
So what do we need to know from your book that we need to take to the polls with us today?
Well, you just need to take an embrace that, you know, we are those who are going to rescue the country in our time. You know, we are as significant as the American revolutionaries and George Washington and those group of marvelous human beings and ancestors. And just as Lincoln and the Union and great men stepped up to wrest us from, you know, control of the Confederacy and slavery and becoming something that was not designed by the founding fathers. That's the moment now. That's how significant this is. And people should, I mean, I'm so excited. I'm dropping my daughter for school right now. My wife and I are going to go vote in person right next door. And I feel so excited, you know, we're part of something that is bigger than ourselves. We're an extension of what happened in 1776. And I just really believe that people are stepping up. I believe that good will prevail because we have a goal. We understand our purpose and destiny. You know, we've been asleep and the tyrant has been the most active. But once good men and decent men are awakened, which is what's happening in this country now. I mean, you know, this fight's going to go on, by the way, after this. But they're going to lose. They're going to lose because they have awakened the sleeping giant of American patriots. And there's no going back for them. And, you know, the end will be near for them.
Do you fear for the safety of Donald Trump?
Yeah, I feel for his safety, fear for his safety, fear for the safety of, you know, good, decent American citizens out there who are going to have their, you know, towns burned down by Democrats who are sent out into the streets after Trump wins. You know, it's going to be ugly, you know, and that's just to be expected. I mean, you know, they're boarding up DC. You can say, yeah, it's just perception. You know, maybe they're just trying to paint, you know, Trump supporters as but that's not how it goes. You know, I would remind people to go back and watch videos of 2017, Trump's inauguration day, January 20th. There were worldwide protests, and in DC in particular, you know, they were screaming obscenities, but they were torching limousines. They were breaking the glass of businesses, and it looked way worse than January 6th, as a matter of fact. And 6 or 7 cops went to the hospital with injuries. So that happened in 2017, and now they're calling him Hitler. So just get ready. Get ready. You know, we need to be mature, and we need to be strong, and we need to be confident. You know, we have to confront this. It's going to happen.
We had a big group of people at our house, Drew, last week, and I never bring up politics to anybody visiting our home, but they did.
Sure.
And they wanted to because everybody's engaged right now. And one of the people said that they're afraid. They're afraid for the country. I said, well, you should be afraid. But here's the deal. You can be afraid and concerned if Trump wins, but if he loses, be even more concerned.
Yeah, let me just find this quote real quick. I wrote about it last night. This should give everyone courage. It gave me courage. So a soldier in the Battle of Bull Run, he described his experience, and he said he wasn't particularly courageous or patriotic, but after the battle, he said, in the roar of musketry and the thundering discharge of artillery, there is a music that banishes even innate cowardice. And I hear that music, you know, and
Yeah.
I don't think that we're a cowardly people anymore. I don't think we ever were per se. There was some trepidation, but that's what I mean when we're woken up. I mean, the way people are behaving and acting and talking right now, they're actually excited and proud to vote for Donald Trump. There's not this apologetic nature that we saw even in 2020, which was, you know, kind of reluctant support. Like you were buying the left's premise. Oh yeah, Trump's not so good, but we're going to vote for him. I wish we had. No one's doing that. We are excited to have him. We are behind him fully, and we understand the stakes. So I think like that person, you know, there are people in this country that wouldn't say I'm particularly courageous or even overly patriotic, but just like that infantryman that ran into enemy fire for the cause of liberty. Now we're doing the same. And these people are realizing, man, all this musket fire, right, which is the left calling us names and attacking and so on and so forth. J6, protesters being thrown up, all of that stuff, you know, it's actually it's banished cowardice. That music. It's become music, you know. It's something that I thrive under now, that I feed off of, and I do.
All right, Drew. Well said, buddy. Will you vote to save or destroy America in 2024? That's the title of Drew's book. Always great to have you, and especially on Election Day. We couldn't think of a better guy to give us some great talk. And Drew, we appreciate you, and we will talk to you next week. State bene.
Will be a heck of a conversation next Tuesday.
All right.
See you, Drew.
So I wasn't going to, I don't know. I hate to end the show on a downer, but it's a pretty scary situation that is incredibly unlikely, but could happen. Trump wins. They invoke the 25th Amendment on Biden between the election and Inauguration Day. Kamala becomes the president. They kill Trump, and Kamala declares martial law.
I just don't see that happen because they know.
No, me neither. But
but here's the thing: is that they know what would happen after that if they did that.
Called Colonel Adams in Washington. Right?
That would be that. He would be the first, but that it'd be worse than that.
All right, listen. Your phone is also a radio. Anywhere you are, you can listen to the station. We'd love to have you on that phone app every day, all day. You know, when you're at work, hit the phone app, put the headphones in, so. You know, or put the speaker on so everybody can hear it. That'd be fine too.
Yeah.
But just know that the phone app is absolutely the best way to listen to the station.
And my final words on this election day are just get out and vote. I mean, that's as simple as I can make it. I don't want to just win the electoral vote. As we talked with Jamie Allman, I want it to be the popular vote this time. So when they say, well, he didn't really win, I want it to be a solid win. Electorally, it is a solid win because we're a republic. But I want the popular vote too. I'm stingy.
I'm as greedy as you are. So get out and vote Donald Trump for president. We always say Donald John Grover Cleveland Trump because we want Trump to be 45 and 47 and Grover Cleveland was 22 and 24. And you'll hear the news tell you that every day after the election. We said it first.
Yep.
All right, go vote. Be an American. Thank you all for listening. I'm so nervous I could puke. And I'll see you tonight at 8 o'clock with Tony Colombo right here for election results on 101.9 and 94. And thanks for having the record player on this morning.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
See you tomorrow.
Whoosh.
I've got a way for you to really dress up your home, and only one guy I'd trust to do it. Michael Proctor, like doctor. Michael will personally examine which drapes, blinds, or shutters will complement your home. He doesn't just measure. He designs, and to make sure it's done right, he will install them. All this saves you money on custom-made drapes, shades, and shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. ProctorDrapery.com.
Missouri, your voice matters.
Jobs and the economy are the most important issues in the coming election.
I think we need some kind of change.
The Farmers Co-op Old Town Country Store and NewstalkSTL remind you that November 5th, you have the power to shape our state and nation's future.
My vote counts.
Get out to vote November 5th because the future is in your hands.
Everybody has the right to vote.
I do vote because I want to matter.
Get out to vote. Brought to you by the Farmers Co-op Old Town Country Store, Joe Bacardi's, and Senior Memorial Life.
Tony Colombo here for Zero Res, the cleaning pros we trust with our home, and the team bringing you a great offer for the month of October. Book a cleaning this month and mention the Colombo special, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $75 off an air duct cleaning. Don't let the germs hiding in your home haunt your family. Call Zero Res now and take advantage of this scary good deal. Just mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or when you book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Craving something twisted, something deliciously different? Philly Pretzel Factory in Baldwin is your ticket to pretzel heaven. We're not just talking regular pretzels. We're talking out-of-this-world pretzel creations and mind-blowing pretzel pizza. Don't get yourself in a knot searching for the perfect snack. We've got party trays, specialty items, assorted pretzel tins, plus our legendary dips. Philly Pretzel Factory in Baldwin. Online at phillypretzelfactory.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. GOP Vice Presidential nominee Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio says he hopes the tone of the country would change no matter who wins.
We ought to be kind to one another. We ought to treat each other with respect. And fundamentally, what we're trying to do, President Trump and I, is just build the kind of country where our fellow Americans can achieve their dreams. But that's all of our fellow Americans, regardless of who they vote for.
Meanwhile, the 2024 election now in the hands of voters. White House correspondent Greg Cluxton reports.
Tens of millions of Americans voted early, and many more are casting ballots today. But no one knows how long it'll take to tabulate all the ballots. Different states have different procedures. In 2020, Donald Trump declared victory before the winner was officially determined. And campaign senior advisor Jason Miller would not rule out the possibility that Trump might do it again. A candidate must win at least 270 Electoral College votes to be elected president. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Former President Trump, who gave his final stump speech in Michigan, flew back to Florida, where he plans to hold an election night event at his Mar-a-Lago estate in West Palm Beach. Vice President Harris returning to Washington after wrapping up her campaign in Pennsylvania last night. Tonight, she'll hold a watch party at her alma mater, Howard University in D.C. Also at townhall.com, a strike by 33,000 Boeing factory workers coming to an end after more than 7 weeks. Mechanic Melanie Marcianic says she rejected the contract offer, but it's time to move on.
I think that it's time for the strike to be over, and we got to get back to building airplanes.
The International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers say 59% of its members who cast ballots agreed to approve the third Boeing offer. That was put to a vote. On Wall Street, the Dow is adding 315 points now. The NASDAQ up 225. More at townhall.com.
More than 50 million Americans are at risk of losing their homes, healthcare, safety, retirement security, or income, all because they cannot afford the legal services they need to address their civil legal issues. Archbishop Bernard Hebda of the Archdiocese of St. Paul and Minneapolis.
As people of faith, each of us is called upon to love thy neighbor as thyself and to uplift low-income individuals in our communities. The work the Legal Services Corporation is doing to ensure equal access to justice for all is a powerful way of carrying out this mission, helping low-income Americans in every community secure their homes, provide for their families, and protect themselves and their children. Please join me in supporting LSC's mission to increase access to civil legal aid so we can collectively engage in the ongoing repair and betterment of the world we share.
For more information about the Legal Services Corporation and the communities it serves, please visit lsc.gov. Sponsored by the Legal Services Corporation.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a rough start here on Election Day. Steady rain, areas of flooding, more than 6 inches of total rainfall for parts of the metro. But things improve midday and into the afternoon as the rain gradually shuts down from west to east. Nearly steady temps today in the mid-60s to near 70. Some clearing tonight as drier air settles in, down to 48 for the low, patchy fog. Wednesday and Thursday bring much needed dry time with highs in the low to mid-60s. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hi, Kirk Hilsinger here, and I'm the new chairman of the St. Louis Republican Central Committee. I invite you to our meetings that take place the first Thursday of every month at 3710 Hampton Avenue. You can stay connected with us to learn more about how you can get involved, make your voice heard, and contribute to our shared goals. Together, we can make a difference in the city of St. Louis and the state of Missouri. For more info, visit our new website at stl-gop.com. That's stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Attention St. Louis small business owners. Dive into the power of video with Blue Ocean Media Group. We create affordable, eye-catching content that makes waves on social media and strengthens your brand. Don't let big budgets hold you back. Our professional team delivers pro quality at small business prices. Boost your online presence, engage customers, and watch your business grow. Visit blueomg.com today to start your video journey. That's blueomg.com.
Looking for a cruise vacation? Cruise.com is offering its exclusive sale of the year to all listeners to this station. Every major cruise line, including Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Princess, MSC, and more, are on sale now. Call 1-800-507-9264 and book one of these deals while supplies last. Cruises start from as low as $39 per person per day. There isn't a better vacation value to places like Alaska, Europe, the Caribbean, South America, and more. Call one of the largest cruise specialists in the world at 1-800-507-9264. We'll find you a vacation that includes drinks, Wi-Fi, excursions, and more. Call 1-800-507-9264. That's 1-800-507-9264. Space is limited. Don't miss your opportunity to book the best deal of the year. That's 1-800-507-9264. Sponsored by Cruise.com.
If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
The far left wants to destroy conservative values in America.
This is News Talk STL. Welcome home. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
From the NYPD to the Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Here he is, Dan Bongino.
So years ago, long time ago, back in 1999. Hey, Jim, you remember when years started with a 19? It was like 24 years ago. Is my math okay? Yeah, my math is okay. Well, close. You remember that, Mike? When years started with a 19 in front of it? Remember when years started with 19 in front of it? And you were like, oh my gosh, the year 2000. In the year 2000. Remember that segment? Was that like Conan or something like that? Yeah. The year 2000 seems so far away. So it's 1999, around December, and I am getting ready to graduate from the United States Secret Service Academy. And man, let me tell you something. My family could not have been prouder. Me either. I couldn't believe it. I was like, well, they hire a dope like me for it. You know, I was stunned. I mean, I'm only half kidding. Like, I was really surprised. I didn't really think, back then, they're still hard to get, but back then they were really, really, really hard to get. And someone saw something in me, and I appreciated that, and they hired me at the time. And it was the greatest thing ever. I will never forget. I remember being an NYPD cop before that, and they used to give you these paper little parking plaques you put in your window, and it basically said you were a cop. And the paper plaques were no big deal. They basically entitled you to basically park around a police station. That was really it. But they had these things called pool plaques with the NYPD, and these pool plaques were like these big plastic laminated hologram plaques, and that was only for like the police chiefs and the bosses, and it was almost a park anywhere thing. And Mike and Jim, you remember New York City, like parking anywhere. That's like, yeah, I mean, you might have, billionaires couldn't park anywhere near it. So it was like a thing to have a pool plaque, right? I promise this story I'll land this plane. Just hang with me. You're probably like, what the hell on election day? Ha! 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 Stand easy. Stand easy, kids. So I get hired by the Secret Service, and day one, I don't even have a gun yet. I haven't even gone through training. They give me a pool plaque. They're like, hey, I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, this is mine? They're like, yeah, and here's a car, you get a car to take home. And I was like, I do? You got to remember, I'm a poor kid from Queens who grew up above a bar. I'm like, what? This is insane. A pool plaque. Like, this is the kind of thing you had to be like the police chief to get one of these things. And I'm like, wow, what a day. I couldn't believe it. I mean, you want to talk about, I was always proud to be an American, but I thought this is really, what a great country, giving a kid like me a shot like this to protect El Presidente, right? So I graduate. You go through 6 months of training, and I graduate, and it's December or so. And everybody in my family is super stoked that I'm going to be an agent, and you get your gun and your commission book and your badge, and all of a sudden you're like the lone freaking ranger out there, and I'm like ready to rock and roll. And my grandfather and my grandmother had come down. They lived in Jackson Heights in the same apartment for their entire lives. My grandfather, Frank, and my grandmother, Agatha, but she went by Ann. And I loved them very much. My grandfather was a hero of mine. Fought in the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. And because we didn't have a lot of dough, very little dough, we all stayed in one hotel room. It was basically mine, the one the Secret Service had, because it was a suite in a DoubleTree in Alexandria, Virginia. I don't even know if that's still there. I assume it is. So we all stayed in the same room, and I was like asking the hotel guy, you got like 7 cots or something? And they were like, yeah, sure. Like they got the hint. They were like, whatever, man. Just don't make a lot of noise. Like it was going to be like a Motley Crue party or something, but it wasn't. So we're all sitting there in the room, and there were like my parents and my grandmother and grandfather, and they couldn't have been prouder. In the middle of the night, it's about 2 a.m. or so. My grandfather got up and he screamed really loud. And I was like, what was that? And it was the weirdest thing. Like nobody responded. My mom a little bit, but that was it. Well, nobody responded. And he just went back to sleep. And I was like, well, that was weird. So the next morning I asked my dad, I was like, hey, what was that about? With Grandpa. And he said, he doesn't really talk about World War II. And that happens once in a while. He'd get up in the middle of the night and he would just like let out a scream or something like that. He has bad nightmares. And then that's it. You just go back to sleep. And he said it matter-of-factly, like he'd been dealing with this his whole life. Why do I bring that story up? Because this country has really been built by this almost incomprehensible amount of passion to save this republic and people with courage and bravery and honor. I lost an uncle, Gregory Ambrose, in Vietnam, was shot in the back, south of Thu Duc, saving his friends. My grandfather, like I said, was a hero of mine. Never ever spoke about his time over in the war. He named my father after his battle buddy who had died, my father, John. And they just gave us this incredible generation of men, heroes, patriots, 18, 20, 24-year-olds going overseas, and a lot of them coming back in boxes. They gave us a task that was handed to them by their fathers and grandfathers. The task was, don't lose this place. This republic is worth saving. When we say things like people have died for it, that's not a statement meant for effect. That's not a hyperbolic statement. People have died, come home in boxes for this place. So I wonder today on election day, very few is probably an infinitesimally small number, especially in this audience, but there may be some people out there still undecided whether they should vote or not. And I think to myself, really? I mean, think of all the stuff that they've handed us. I mean, you had these Depression era kids. I mean, I think about now, it's the weirdest thing, when I was growing up, the little things I think about all the time that may sound crazy to you all in the audience, but I'm in such an ebullient, kind of insanely good mood today, only because we have the opportunity to save the country, where in most places they just take it by the barrel of a gun. We still have a shot to save this place. But I think the craziest thing sometimes, like how hard my grandparents had it being depression kids. And when I grew up, life was so much different. There was no cell phones or anything. I just remember things like, you guys remember this, Jim? Like everybody back then had crooked teeth. Like no one ever had straight teeth. No one did. It was just like, how crooked were your? I think now, like now it's like we have all this stuff like Invisalign. Or like nobody even has crooked teeth anymore. We live in this amazing place where it's like, man, there's nothing to watch on TV. Bro, there's 7,000 channels. There's TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. What do you mean? We're so spoiled with abundance because of this generation of heroes that handed us down this gift. Would you think it was free? We're so spoiled sometimes. I genuinely wonder, really, from the bottom of my heart, like, how can you abdicate your role on election day and decide, hey, man, I'm out? You're out of what? I don't understand. What did Plato say? You may not like politics, but politics sure likes you. I'm sure he left the curse words out, but I wouldn't. You may not like politics, man. But it likes you, brother. It likes you way too much. You know what else it likes? It likes your money. It likes your kids' education. It likes to steal your health care. It likes to bury you and suffocate you in mounds of government paper and red tape. It likes to send your kids over to foreign wars and take all your tax money and give it over to bureaucrats overseas. It loves to do that. You don't at least want to take your one opportunity here to take it back? You know, you think back, right, to the generation of the hippies and all them, right? They were all leftists. But they were like, man, it's all about fighting the man. They are the man now. Those hippies became, the 50 and 60-year-old, privileged losers in Ivy League schools with $500,000 salaries telling you what a loser and scrub you are as a MAGA supporter. They are the man now. You have an opportunity today to legit fight the man. No, I mean it, like the man. Who's the man? You know who the man is. It's these bow tie wearing, cocktail party attending, bureaucrat, NGO, WEF, government sinecure, politician class of losers that have basically said, hey, you know what? You can plant a big wet one on my ass. This is about us. It's not about you. Really? I thought this was consent of the governed. They're like, you believe that? Well, today you get your opportunity. Today you get your opportunity to revoke your consent. Today you get your opportunity to say, nah, not so much. You may have laughed at us for the last 3.5 years. But the great part about a constitutional republic is the last laugh is always on us. And you know what they say? He who laughs last laughs the loudest. And believe me, they ain't talking about decibels. Folks, you have an opportunity to be heard today. There's a lot going on. We've got a lot of content for you today. I will be here tonight as well, exclusively on Rumble. If you want to watch the show, it is free. It's rumble.com/Bongino. We'll be going live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time till about midnight. I ask you to check us out. Join the crew. It'll be an amazing time. Producer Jim will be there. Evita. Got Mike Benz, Julie Kelly, a big guest lineup. I'm going to say no matter what happens tonight, I'm not leaving the country. I'm not going to threaten to leave the country because this is my country and I've drawn a red line in the sand and I'm going to defend it no matter what. I ain't going anywhere. But I'm really hoping tonight turns out to be a celebration. A celebration of what? Donald Trump? No, I love Donald Trump, but this isn't a celebration of Donald Trump. It's a celebration of a people, a group of people who said, you know what? Enough of this bull. We've had enough. You know, when Trump says it's not about me, I'm just in their way, they're coming for you, he's not kidding. I've spoken to Trump many times. Listen, a lot. Name dropping is for losers. Oh, my gosh, he's my best friend. He's out my back. I've met him like 10 times. He's a super nice guy. I'm just telling you, the times I've spoken to him, he believes 100% of that. that he is just the biggest obstacle for them coming for you. Folks, if you're in line, they've had some problems already in Pennsylvania. Mike, sound familiar? Listen, this isn't the day for I told you so's because you sound like a big ass and a moron. This is why I